What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I am your girl, Molinda Jae, and I am here to bring you all a grown and gospel review of the sixth episode. Yes, I am late, but rightfully so because I was too busy celebrating my cousin getting married this weekend. So I am definitely excited. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this review, okay? So, with the Groaning Gospel, the title of the episode is Take a Bow. And from my understanding, I believe this is the season finale, but I feel like we need, after reviewing this episode, I feel like there needs to be another season for Groaning Gospel. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that we get a Groaning Gospel season 2, and it will be shown during the time when Love and Marriage Huntsville is not running, and of course SWV and Escape Show was running at the same time as well as this was coming out, even though it came out on a Thursday. Its air times was Thursday, but still, due to the commotion of the daily and hourly things that was unfolding with the SWV and Escape Show, it literally overshadowed the greatness of the Groaning Gospel series on WeTV. All right, so the episode starts off and it picks up where we left off from the last episode, which was Elijah during Tasha's worship celebration, because she chose that as a form of as a birthday gift to herself and for others as well. She utilized her talent to not only show love to the people who support her, and just like an equal give and exchange as well. Okay. And of course, the last episode, it ended off Elijah coming in with a shadow box of long heel, red bottom, sparkly booties for Tasha, because that's what Jay Brooks had encouraged Elijah to do, besides apologize to her, but also give her a pair of red bottoms and she'll be good. So, I mean, he did just as that in his own little special way, of course, in Elijah's special way. All right. And then after he sets the red bottoms on the stage where Tasha and others are performing the worship ceremony, he goes over and sit by Nikki, and Tasha, I mean, it could have went two ways. Tasha could have easily went off even more than what she did at the dinner. I mean, at the gather round table with her, Jay Brooks, Nikki, and Elijah. She could have took it off from there, or she responded and to basically singing to Elijah, which is a weakness for him. He went into elaboration that his weakness when it comes to Tasha, into getting back in good graces with him and vice versa, is that she sings to him and sings to him in front of him. So as a sign of reconciliation, she sings to him in their own little special way. Of course, people have their own special way of apologizing each other. When you're a regular schmegular person, it's like, okay, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, but just simply, I'm sorry. If you want to give a reason, fine, but let it be strictly for the reason as to what you're apologizing for, without the but. Okay, because when you add the but in, that's more like but So in their own special way, they did their reconciliation. Tasha begins singing her song, singing a song in regards to, him doing too much. And of course, Shayna and Bree come through with the background vocals of he does too much, because he does do too much. Okay. But as the episodes go by throughout the season, of course, when it comes to Elijah, it seemed like he is annoying at first, but it takes a special type of person to deal with Elijah in that type of capacity, because everybody shows their side, shows a side of, everybody learns different, and everybody expresses their emotions and their thoughts and their feelings differently as well. So yeah, it could seem in the beginning of the season, Elijah seemed like the type of person that is annoying as heck. But as you progress on down the episodes, it starts to come, he starts to come around, or your train of thought starts to come around and bring a sense of liking to Elijah, which it has with me. I like Elijah in his own special way, because yes, he may seem like he's dramatic and he does too much, of course, obviously, but that is just his own special way of either showing showing gratitude, or stressing his concern to a person that he loves, and the list goes forward. Okay, so basically they end up hugging it out with each other, and she says she's still going to wear those red bottom heels. So yes, take the red bottom heels, girl, and run with it, literally. But my thoughts on this particular scene is, even though Elijah meant well in his own special way, of course, as far as like expressing his concern with Tasha, with her going from this to this, going from a single lady to eventually we learned on down the line she was the first lady, with her husband, with her estranged husband, and that he doesn't like the way she is being treated in the relationship. Even though she messed up, he still doesn't like the fact that how she's being treated. So it's best to keep a friend than lose a man, okay? Or you don't want to lose a man because of a friend, because your relationship with the friend is longer than the man, all right? In other words, it says it's a season, it's a reason for the season, okay? All right. On to the next thing, we have Bree meeting up with Miss Dorinda, but I believe the correct title for Miss Dorinda is Dr. Dorinda, I want to say. But otherwise, she visited the Miss Clark's house to get some tips for her showcase, because Bree has invited everyone to her showcase, of course, and including her father and her husband, even though on down the line we're gonna learn the details on that. But she asked Miss Dorinda about what does she do when she gets overwhelmed or emotional during a performance. And I can relate to Bree with this, because whenever I sing certain songs, you know what I'm saying, I get a little emotional. And Miss Dorinda, and it depends on the moment too. And Miss Dorinda simply just says, hey, just push through it, okay? Just push through it, because at the end of the day, the performance that you are giving, you are delivering. What she has said, performance is the performance that you're delivering, okay, at that point. And it's important to press forward than just stop and not do anything about it, okay? And it's also dealing with connecting with your audience as well. So of course, whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, 9 times out of 10 there's going to be someone in the audience that is feeling that same emotion that you're feeling as well. Of course, that's the part of the even exchange. So it's important for you to continue to deliver the performance, deliver the message that you're trying to relay out to your audience. Otherwise, is just going to leave, you're just going to leave your audience hanging once you stop and come to a complete stop and you just can't press forward. Okay, it's almost like a mood. It's like a KILL switch, right? So, and also she encourages Bree to do a breathing exercise, which is utilizing a balloon, which you blow into with your breath, and then as you doing, and once you fill up the balloon with one single breath, then you like do the, okay, you do that within the balloon, and then of course after you do that, you try to sing a note and you try to hold it as long as you can, because with singing is all about the breath work. Okay, it's all about the breath work, not only with the pitch and the dictation and all that, but you gotta be able to maintain your breath work at the same time. Okay, otherwise you just going to pass out like Elijah did in his performance. Okay, that's another thing that Bree could take some notes on, is don't get too overwhelmed to the point you end up passing out unexpectedly on the stage like Elijah did. I'm just saying, because once you are in that mode like that, it's going to lead to where you are hallucinating and you're feeling that slight dizziness, and just be cool as a bug. Okay, be cool as a cucumber. Okay, and that leads on to the next scene. Okay, Tasha meeting up with her dad, and while she's meeting up with her dad, she also went into further detail that she has 2 other siblings with her father, before her mother married Jay Brooks' dad, which that answered my questions from the previous episode, because I was like, okay, I hear Jay Brooks talking about that's his sister, because with us black folk, us melanated people, we always be saying, oh, that's my sister, that's my brother, that's my cousin, and we not even blood related. But that literally answered my question from the previous episode I was like, okay, is Tasha mom married to Jay Brooks' dad? And that was the answer that was given. So thank you. But they discuss, her and her father discuss marriage when it comes to Tasha and her estranged husband, and she wanted to get some more insight of how her family, especially her father, really felt about the marriage. And what he has stated was that he felt like that she was not honored and recognized enough as a first lady of the church that her husband was pastoring at. And I was like, I didn't know she was a first lady here. You learn something new every day. Okay. That's what I was thinking. I was like, wow. But that right there, what her father had said, that the fact that she was not being recognized as well as honored as a first lady of her husband's congregation is red flags to his higher power. Because if you don't recognize your significant other in public, as publicly present them with their rightful titles in association to you, then that's a problem. So, especially within the church sector, it leaves the door open for people that are within the congregation, as well as people that are not associated with the congregation as well, to have judgment and to gain access to bully you to a certain degree. Because if your husband doesn't stand by your side and claim you as your lady, as his lady, that is my lady, this is my significant other, this is my wife, She is the first lady of the church. You shall honor and respect her as two shall fit. Then that is a problem. So that is definitely a big red flag. And she also mentions that she was drinking 12 shots of Casamigos a day, to the point where whenever she went to the liquor store, they knew her by name, because that was her coping avenue, was the spirits, drinking the spirits, okay? Drinking the spirits, if you know what I mean. And also, she had mentioned that, let's see, I had said, it was said that she was accused of having affairs with different people while she was in New York. And when she came back, the rumors were still going on, to the point that, you know how people would say curiosity, KILLS, the cat. And if the rumor becomes repeated for so long, then people are going to perceive it as the truth at some point when it's repeated so many times. So she was like, okay, y'all accused me for this for so long. Why not do it? Have at it. Because I'm not getting attention from my husband anyway. But it just, I really felt bad for Tasha, for real. Because it seems like to me the marriage was arranged to some degree, because I don't know. It really does feel like the marriage was arranged to some capacity. I don't know if it was for a come up, and I'm not saying from her end. I'm saying from the strange husband standpoint. But it just seems like with her enduring all that during her marriage, and again, no marriage is perfect, but again, with those signs being significant there, of no matter what she was doing as a wife to get his attention, and he was not looking up from the phone whatsoever, and not acknowledging her publicly to his congregation and other people, that is alarming. That will cause a blow to someone's self-esteem and confidence as well. So I'm really glad she made it out of that darkness in that manner. But of course, that goes into the perspective of, in the religious sector of God not liking divorce. But if it's causing you anguish and despair, and God wants you to live in some form of happiness, and if you're not living it, then I'm pretty sure he will want you to get rid of the DEAD weight of it all. So even though it is frowned upon in the gospel sector, the religious sector of divorcing from someone, if you have done all you could and there is no room for reconciliation whatsoever, and one party is trying to do it all, but the other one is already mentally checked out and want to escape from the situation, then it's time to call it quits, plain as day. But I mean, I get it from Tasha's standpoint, that she was really trying her best to her, in her perspective. You know, I can't say the same for her estranged husband, but from what we are seeing from the outsiders looking in, she was doing the best that she could to stay within the marriage. But due to him already being mentally checked out and using whatever tactics that he could get from the situation, it's time to pull the plug. Which leads on to the next scene about Nikki making preparations for her husband to come home. With this little situation here, or just this little small segment is basically Nikki just basically not only showing appreciation for the single moms out there, that when it comes to having the patience and trying to balance it all at the same time, but it just goes to show that, again, not every relationship is perfect, and people, you have to allow people to love who they love. And if they end up if there's any mess up along the way, they or they end up hitting a brick road or falling rock bottom or falling short in the midst of that, just be there for the person and not necessarily keep hackling that judging mentality down their throat, because as you keep doing that, you're going to allow the person to keep, or the person's just going to keep rebelling until you stop and they hit rock bottom for themselves, or they hit the brick wall themselves. And then whenever they surrender to the will and allow things to work into their favor, as long as they continue to go forward with their plans and actions to achieve their goals, then that's when you pick them up and support the person when they ask for guidance. Okay, so that's what I was getting from that scenario. Again, I can relate to Nikki's issue as well, or Nikki's scenario as well. So yeah, shouts out to her. And of course, there's also an ending screen with what they're doing now, but that leads on to the next scene with Bree meeting up with Elijah and Shayna for wardrobe fitting, because the showcase is 2 days from where they're visiting a boutique to look for some clothing for the showcase. Of course, Jay Brooks and Elijah has their names on the line when it comes to the showcase for Bree. Jay Brooks is going to be the producer and in charge of music, and Elijah is in charge of wardrobe and her image. So Bree, as we learn now, that Bree is still married, okay? And they ask her, Elijah and Shayna ask her, well, is her father coming to the showcase? And is the husband coming to the showcase? And she stated that her husband is stuck at work, and Elijah feels some type of way because, again, it just shows that, and I feel what Elijah is feeling, because I get it, you have to work and all that, but can you just take off time to visit your daughter, or to watch your wife do something that she loves and that she is striving to doing for just one night? And of course, work can be work, and I'm pretty sure the executives or anybody can understand that, because they would definitely do that for their families as well. So Elijah found that odd, as well as Shayna too, but definitely Elijah felt some type of way that her husband specifically can't take off work to go watch his wife perform at her showcase. And he goes into this, Elijah goes into this scenario that this is a moment that she is basically reintroducing herself and to the public. And Bree is in the mindset, hey, I just want to go out and be myself and come out as myself. And Elijah's like, no, we going big and going home on all this. He wants the extravaganza of it all, okay? So they also asked her about rehearsal, how's rehearsal coming by? And she was like, I haven't gotten to that yet. And I was like, Bree, girl, what is going on? So they was just as shocked as I am. And her reasoning for this was that each time that she would want to do rehearsal, the band was busy because she is the one the showcase with a live band. On the flip side, when it comes to Jay Brooks being a producer of the in charge of music, he's busy as well. So literally, she has to utilize her time to get ready for the showcase for a quick rehearsal. Okay. And then as she is going by picking up dresses and trying them on, that's what leads to Elijah talking about how he is trying to get his album finished and turned in as well. And Shayna was like, I don't even know what genre you're trying to tap into when it comes to your music, son. So and I like the way Shayna explained this, because I've already said this earlier in my previous reviews, because he had mentioned, I could have spent time on myself. Then if Bree had her ish together, this is not verbatim, but basically the scenario that Elijah provided to Shayna is that, well, if I wasn't so caught up in Bree and getting her image together, I could be finishing up this project. And I'm like, Elijah, you basically volunteered yourself to help out with her image and her wardrobe, okay? And you can do that, rightfully so, but you did that on your free will. Nobody held up to your head and be like, hey, you are going to be the wardrobe consultant, the creative director for Bree Hammond, okay? You made that decision, bro. So when it comes to him and Bree, it's all about time management, and I'm pretty sure all of us go through this as well. Time management between what our heart desires and what we have to do to take care of bills in the household. So, child, I was like, Elijah, I mean, you can still work on your project, bro, but you overthink it, which I get it. You are a perfectionist. I get the perfectionist vibe from you, and rightfully so, but don't stress yourself out while doing that. Okay? Because I believe Jay Brooks is working on his project as well. So Jay Brooks is busy with all the folks on the cast with Grown and Gospel. Okay? So with that being said, hey, take a chill pill, Elijah. Take a chill pill, okay? Which leads to I believe, the last segment of the show, which is literally the showcase. Of course, Bree is going through her rehearsal, and they mentioned this is like the longest rehearsal ever, because her and Elijah was going back and forth. Elijah wants her to do this, do that. He was basically Joe Jackson and Ike Turner put together for this matter for Bree, because he wants her to win, but the way he is delivering the message is not matching up to the vision that he has in his mind. And it's almost like he's projecting himself onto her when it comes to being on the stage. But Elijah, you were the same person that was feeling overwhelmed and getting dizzy and passing out because you have literally stressed yourself thin. Again, take a chill pill, Elijah. Take a chill pill. I love you, but take a chill pill. So they end up getting through rehearsals, and she gets ready for her showcase, and she does well. I mean, her voice is like butter, y'all. Okay, she has a great voice. Let's see what else. Yeah, she ends up performing, and she ends up performing this song called Evil Puss, okay. Even though it is the scientific form of the area down there for a woman. And Jay Brooks does not like that song whatsoever, but she ended up performing it just as a kink to lighten up the mood, I guess, for the event. And also, people that showed up at the event was Hoops, okay, from the Flavor of Love, as well as another, I believe this was another executive as well that was at the showcase to see what Brooke was about. But the performance ended good on a good note, which led to Elijah to shed a tear a little bit because she has literally got through this showcase, because on the previous episode she was second guessing on herself on whether she wanted to go through it or not. So I'm glad she pushed through to have this showcase, despite, you know, her father being on contractual obligations with touring and her husband not being there because of work. Okay. So the episode ends with Tasha ending up running up the stairs, through the stage, backstage to the bathroom, because she said she wasn't feeling well throughout the showcase, and she ends up, you know, vomiting. And Shayna had asked her, "Hey girl, are you pregnant?" And Tasha was like, "This is not the time to be pregnant because I'm going through this divorce." And Shayna was like, "We can be pregnant." And Tasha was like, "No, I don't want it like this." And I was like, "Yeah, y'all know that, you know, that night in that hotel room, that hey, hey, it happens, okay? It happened." Which leads to Elijah being like, feeling some type of way. Even Jay Brooks feeling type of way as well, because Elijah was like, "Nah, this is the wrong time to be pregnant, okay? You ain't got time to be pregnant." And Jay Brooks was like, "You got to be kidding me. This can't be happening." So that leads to Elijah saying, "You know what? I just need to leave." Because Shayna had to bring Elijah back to reality and like, "Hey, your delivery is not the right time right now. She needs support. She does not need the heckling down her neck right now. She needs support in this matter." And Jay Brooks was like, "I ain't got time for this. And send me a time machine so I can go back in time." I cackle on that portion. I'm gonna have to use that, Jay Brooks. Give me a timeline so I can go back, go back in time for this crap. But that's the end of the review, you guys. Season 1. I hope y'all enjoy the review. And again, I hope they get a second season of the show as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. If you would like for me to review any shows, I'm not reviewing Love is Blind or 90 Day Fiance or Ready to Love, because those shows are redundant at this point. I just can't. Literally, it's just people trauma bonding at this point on those shows. I literally watched one season of Love is Blind, and I was like, I can't do no more Love is Blind. No. That's it. But other than that, I'm gonna leave y'all to it. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.